We got some Week 12 OFL action as the 6-win Cardinals taking on the 7-win Rams in a game with lots of playoff implications. The Rams could take a nice lead in the NFC West, or the Cardinals can tie it up as Leonard Fournette, he would be stuffed up like Thanksgiving turkey, losing 4 on the run. And then the very next play, 2nd and 14, he is wrapped up like a Christmas present, losing 2 more. Very rough day for Leonard Fournette. Can't really stress that enough. And that will force an Arizona punt. Rams have it, led by the former Heisman Trophy winner Lamar Jackson. As on 2nd down, he finds Evan Engram, who was just traded for from the Browns. He gains 14 in his first Rams reception. And then 2nd down, Jamison Crowder finding the end zone. And the Los Angeles Rams will take a quick 7-0 lead. Let's see what the Cardinals offense can do. Trying to get on the board, Coach Matt LaFleur not too thrilled with his defenses. Drew Lock, who did not start last week because he was benched in the Green Bay game, but he's starting this week. He would fumble it on 3rd down. Draymond Jones with the sack. However, the Cardinals would recover it, and that is a huge break. Rams have it as Lamar Jackson would be sacked as DeForest Buckner tells Jones, what you can do, I can do a little bit worse since there is no fumble. They're down in 17 now. Rams trying to convert to start off the 2nd quarter. And that's just what they would do, as the rookie Paris Campbell would get it. Now at the 19, Rams driving. Melvin Gordon untouched like weekend homework for a Los Angeles touchdown. They extend their lead. Gordon was acquired from the Detroit Lions a couple of weeks ago, and he's been very solid for the Rams. Lions did get nice value, Duke Johnson, in a first-round selection. So it's 14-0 as Drew can't get points on the board. That 0 is pretty much locked. However, I guess that's a good play as they gain around 20-ish yards. And then a face mask on the Rams extending that play. So now at the 44-yard line, Drew Lock, he's going to move a little bit. He finds Damian Williams, who brings it to the 25. Cardinals looking good. Now at the 14 is Drew Lock. Under pressure, he would be sacked by Joey Bosa, whose younger brother Nick Bosa happens to play for this Cardinals team. So we have a little brotherly rivalry. 2nd down and 17, Reuben Foster gets this sack like he hits his women. 3rd down and 27 now. Deja vu as Foster with his 2nd straight sack. The Cardinals, who were once in the red zone, they would go for an extremely long field goal. It's way short, and the score remains 14-0. Rams trying to extend their lead before the end of the half, and they might do it. As Lamar Jackson, he would look and his receiver would drop a wide open pass. However, they would kick a field goal, so it's now 17-0. What a massacre it's been so far. 32 seconds left. Cardinals hoping they get lucky. And they don't. Reuben Foster with yet another sack, his 3rd of the half. Let's go 2nd half as Lamar Jackson will find Paris Campbell for a gain of 19. Now for 42. 3rd down. Lamar Jackson showing off the wheels. Breaks some tackles. Jackson with a nifty spin move, bringing it to the 20. What a run from Jackson. And then on 2nd and goal, he would hand it off for Melvin Gordon, who would get his 2nd touchdown of the day. And the Rams lead extends. What a massacre here in Los Angeles. 24-0. Not looking good for the Cardinals. They're down by 3 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions, as Leonard Fournette currently has negative 10 yards rushing, which is terrible. 2nd and 9, as Leonard Fournette, why not lose even more yards? He loses another one. Now let's go 4th quarter, 2nd and goal. Drew Lock scrambling like he's late on a date. He would be sacked by Joey Bosa. Rough day for this Cardinals offensive line, especially David DeCastro. 4th and goal, Cardinals trying to end the shutout. What had happened? Nope. It would be incomplete, and the score remains 24-0. That's how it would end, as the Cardinals would be goose-egged. That game was not even close. The Rams get a big win, improving to 8-3, sorry. Cardinals go down to 6-5, 2 games back in the division. The ONFC is very competitive, so I'm very curious to see how the last 5 weeks, and I guess last 6 weeks for everyone else, pan out. Both Drew Lock and Lamar Jackson were solid. Neither of them were outstanding, but they were both respectable. Running the ball, Melvin Gordon was very good. Leonard Fournette was not. Receiving, no real standouts for either team. Jameis Crowder made some nice plays. Blocking, 4 sacks allowed by David DeCastro, of all people. Tackle leaders were Josh Allen and Quan Alexander. 3 tackles for Reuben Foster, 2 for Joey Bosa, 1 for Buckner, 1 for Draymond Jones. Around the rest of the OFL, starting with the Atlanta Falcons, who come from behind, scoring 17 of the 4th to defeat the Indianapolis Colts by a score of 27-24. Both Mr. Biscuit and Carson Wentz played pretty well. No interceptions thrown by either of them. Todd Gurley was very solid. Devontae Freeman, low yards per carry, but I guess he did score. Seth Roberts and Travis Benjamin were both big for Indy. Julio Jones, solid game for Atlanta. Mike Evans in his Falcons debut was pretty quiet. Gurley, George Kittle, Devontae Freeman, all with receiving touchdowns. Blocking, 2 sacks allowed by Orlando Brown. And then on defense, Demario Davis with 11 tackles. Anthony Barr with 8. 1.5 sacks for Deion Jones, 1 for Anthony Barr, 1 for Snacks. Half for Khalil Mack, Mike Hilton, Rashawn Gary, Courtney Upshaw, and Frank Clark, and there were no picks. In another close game, the Giants defeat the Redskins 28-24. I'm not sure when Lewerke was supposed to come back. I figured he'd be healthy by now, but I guess not. But CJ Beathard was still very solid. 80%. Sam Darnold also with a good game. Running the ball, Derrick Henry was pretty good. Receiving, Robbie Anderson, big day. Julian Edelman has had a 75-yard catch. Gerald Everett was good. TJ Jones, Deebo Samuel, Dawson Knox all score. 2 sacks allowed by Charles Leno and Brennan Fusco. 10 tackles for Trevathan and Jordan Hicks. The leaders for the Giants were Earl Thomas and Casey Hayward with 6. 1.5 sacks for Cam Jordan, 1 for Jarrell Casey, half for Earl Thomas and Casey Hayward. And then interceptions, 1 for Casey Hayward. The New England Patriots clobbered the Baltimore Ravens in a battle of 2 teams that are tanking. I guess New England isn't really tanking that much since their division's a mess, and they could make the playoffs. Baltimore is probably eliminated by now. Looking at the stats, Tyree Jackson went off. RG3 didn't really play that well. Josh Jacobs probably with his best yards per carry this season, and 3.5 is not good. Receiving, Jarvis Landry with a nice game. Same can be said for Devontae Parker, Trey Burton, Vernon Davis. They all score. TJ Hawkinson looked like he did pretty good. 2 sacks allowed by Tyron Smith, 1 from Brandon Shell and Jamon Brown. 7 tackles for Bernardrick McKinney, Eric Kendricks, and Adrian Phillips. 1 sack for Gerald McCoy, Vontez Burfict. Half a sack for Barkevius Mingo, Brandon Carr, Clay Matthews, and Corey Toomer. Interceptions, I believe there was 2. 1 from William Jackson, 1 from Eric Reed. The Cleveland Browns defeat the San Francisco 49ers 31-20. Looks like the Niners put up a nice effort late. Daniel Jones' first start of his OFL career was decent. Same can be said for Deshaun Watson. Christian McCaffrey, Divine Ozigbo, solid, but I guess low yards per carry. Kenny Golladay, decent game. Christian McCaffrey with receiving touchdown. Josh Reynolds, John Brown, each with scores as well. Tyler Higbee and his Brown debut. David Edwards, the only allowed sack of the game. 14 tackles for Tre'Davious White, 9 for Mark Barron. Sacks, 1 for Vic Beasley, and receptions, I see 1 for Marvell Kell, as well as 1 for Andrew Sendejo. The Green Bay Packers with a convincing interdivisional win, 38-21 against the Minnesota Vikings. Andrew Luck was actually respectable in the sim. Baker Mayfield with identical stats. Okay, this is weird. So, they both threw 220 yards, they both threw 2 touchdowns, they both threw 1 interception, and Luck completed and threw only 1 more pass. That is ironic. Running the ball, Alvin Kamara went off, scoring 3 times, and he ran for 144 yards. Cordero Patterson, Kyle Rudolph, Brandon Cooks, and Larry Fitzgerald all score. A sack allowed by Joel Bitonio, Teron Armstead, 8 tackles for Marcus Peters, Landon Collins, and Mr. Fake Girlfriend, Manti Te'o. Sacks for Marcus Davenport, Charles Harris, Matt Ioannidis, Geno Atkins. Interceptions by Kendall Fuller and Shaquille Griffin. The New Orleans Saints absolutely pummeled the Seattle Seahawks 52-17. Very impressive win for my boys. Okay, Dwayne Haskins must have got hurt. That's not good. And then in relief, Josh Allen went off, throwing 4 touchdowns. Russell Wilson threw 3 interceptions. I'm going to have to check Elvis Haskins' injury because that is not good. Running the ball, Le'Veon Bell played very well. Receiving, Odell Beckham played well. Stephon Diggs with a good game. DJ Moore scored twice. Riley Ridley with a touchdown. Blocking, sacks were allowed by DJ Humphries, Lane Taylor, and Ryan Remchek. The leader in tackles for us was Delvin Tomlinson with 6. He doesn't even start. So all of our non-starters are doing well. Sacks for Jerry Hughes, Aaron Donald, Quinnen Williams. I guess one of these two had to have gotten hurt, which isn't good. Zach Kerr, I don't know how he got in the game. And Stephon Gilmore, interceptions. 1 for Stephon Gilmore, Deontay Thompson, and Jair Alexander. I just checked, and Dwayne Haskins broke his wrist. He is out for 7 weeks, which is the rest of a regular season and the first 2 weeks of the postseason, which is not good. So we may need to trade for a quarterback or hope that Josh Allen plays insanely well. Carolina with a win, 31-17 over the Houston Texans. Wes Lunt with an okay game. Same can be said for Big Ben. Running ball, Kareem Hunt was good. Gio Bernard with a score. I think I saw 2 rushing touchdowns somewhere. Yes, from Bilal Powell. Receiving, I don't see any big games. Antonio Brown was decent. Receiving touchdowns for Eric Ebron, and Jace will see you tomorrow. Sacks were allowed by Ron Leary, Jonah Williams, Garrett Bowles, Laken Tomlinson, and George Fant. 12 tackles for Roquan Smith, 9 for Jalen Ramsey. 1.5 sacks for Calais Campbell, 1 for Anthony Hitchens, Shaq Barrett, Cleveland Ferrell, half a sack for Sua Cravens, and there were no picks. The Steelers win a high-scoring game, 35-28 over the Cincinnati Bengals. Aaron Rodgers, Nick Foles, each throwing 4 touchdown passes. Darius Geis with a score. He had a pretty nice game. Juju Smith-Schuster, 11. Buck 55, 3 scores. Keenan Allen, Jordan Matthews, Doug Baldwin, all of 1 touchdown games. Charles Clay with 2 touchdowns. Sacks allowed 2 from Quinn Kane, 1 for Jack Conklin and Isaiah Prince. Leader in tackles for Pittsburgh was Matt Judon with 9, who also had 2 sacks. 1 for Corey Liuget, Justin Houston, half a sack for KJ Wright and Chris Jones, and there were no picks. The Detroit Lions get a big 28-7 second half, and a nice win over the Chicago Bears. I believe on Thanksgiving. Jared Goff, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Good game from him. Jimmy G threw 3 interceptions. Duke Johnson, low yards per carry, but I guess he did score. Tevin Coleman, only 9 carries. Mark Andrews with another really good game. That looks like a nice pickup for Chicago. And we traded him to Chicago, so good job, me. Tevin Coleman with a receiving touchdown. Jordan Reed with 1. Demaryius Thomas with 2. Isaiah Crowell, Alshon Jeffrey also getting the end zone. 2 sacks allowed by James Hurst. Riley Reef, 1 for High Vitae, 1 for Cody Ford. 10 tackles for Kenny Vaccaro. Leader for Chicago was Luke Kuechly with 7. Sacks, 2 for Michael Bennett, 1 for Brandon Graham, Ryan Kerrigan, Dontari Poe, and Dietrich Wise. Interceptions, 1 for Kenny Vaccaro, Raekwon McMillan, and Ryan Smith. Speaking of Thanksgiving, the Eagles defeat the Cowboys 24-14. So I guess it's good to see my Lions win and the Cowboys lose on Thanksgiving, even though I'm not controlling either team. Kirk Cousins, good game. Blake Bortles did not have a good one. Ezekiel Elliott, touchdown. Amir Abdullah with a touchdown on 1 carry. Receiving, no big games from anyone. No 100-yarders. Touchdown for... Why Amir Abdullah? Why? And then Julius Thomas also with 1. Sacks allowed, 3 from Ryan Trader, 1 from Colton Miller, Cordy Glenn, Anthony Costanzo, J.C. Treader, and Josh Sitton. 10 tackles for Michael Kendricks. Kyle Van Noy. What is with all these Lions busts? Van Noy with 2 sacks. Also 2 for Takk McKinley, 1 for DeMarcus Lawrence. Ziggy Ansah, another former Lion, but he's not new. He's cool. 1 for Javon Hargrave, 1 for Gordon Walker. Interceptions, 1 for Avery Williamson and Chidobe Awuzie. So that's all in the video. Hope you guys enjoy. Press F in the comments for my man's Dwayne Haskins. And if you want to join the league, you can check the community tab and scroll down a little bit, and then the link to the server is there.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Loving plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation.
Yo, hey, man!